Is CO2 the bad guy?
I wouldn't know what is the bad guy, so to speak, but I say this: the body is the most intelligent thing and can heal itself if you stop putting bullshit in it and allow it to heal itself.
Okay.
So I think that the earth is even more intelligent to repair itself if we quit putting man-made bullshit.
Do you know what percentage of the atmosphere is CO2? 0.04%. I was watching a video about science guy types, and I think he was in front of Congress. And he asked a bunch of people within Congress if they knew, and they guessed, 3%, 5%, and he told them 0.04%. I would say, are we really focusing on what's important here?
We'll go with a resounding no.
Well, I mean, in 10 years, Florida's going to be underwater, but they've been saying
They've
that
been
for
saying
what?
that for 20 years, 30 years.
60, 50 years. All right, Vince, podcast twins, here we go.
Here we go.
What do you got in mind for today? You're gonna get heated today.
This is
You're amped up.
This is one of my favorite topics, and he just loves to stir the pot with
100%.
Today is going to be the conspiracy theory episode.
I love it.
So
this is for entertainment purposes only.
Absolutely.
And we're just trying to make
trying
to make you laugh.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's
either laugh or think, whichever.
Okay.
And you make up your own mind.
All right. So
do a little digging.
I mean, there's no shortage of quote unquote conspiracy theories.
Right.
And a lot of them have proved to be not so conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
And where we go first?
Well, I'll say this, and this happened because we were watching the movie with oh my God, what's her name? Anyway, she was aging Demi Moore.
All right.
She's in the movie now where she was an aging Hollywood star. Had basically rolled into the Jane Fonda thing because she was doing these videos and stuff like that. And so, but they wanted to replace her with somebody younger. Somebody introduced her to this magic potion to duplicate yourself, but you had to do it. And I tell people, forget what you're seeing, but understand that Hollywood is taking your temperature.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just coming up. They're not that smart. They're not just coming up with magical things like this. No, they're getting real content and putting Hollywood behind it.
I wasn't even sure if they made movies anymore. The last movie I saw that was good was like 10, 12, 13 years ago, I think.
I mean, this movie wasn't good. I'm not promoting it as it was a good movie. Demi looked great, but that's about it. It wasn't a great movie, but it was the concept of what they were talking about is how I call Hollywood softening you up through entertainment.
All right.
So look, everything that happened from all these crazy movies is what they was trying to introduce to us out here in this world, right?
It's funny you mentioned that because I remember thinking when the COVID shutdowns were in full force.
Where did we see that first?
The movie Demolition Man. Was what I was thinking, where they have this perfect society where the leaders tell you what to do, and if you violate it, like if you say a curse word, the little ticket pops out of the machine, and
right.
All the other stuff, and then they wind up manipulating the system behind the scenes and letting criminals out of the cryo prisons and all that other stuff. And I was thinking, man, I think I saw this movie before.
Outbreak.
Well, how about when it was a TV show and then it was a movie. It was called Limitless.
Yes.
So in Limitless, they had the guy that was taking the drug to let you use your whole brain or whatever.
Yes.
And he was the president of the United States or a presidential candidate. And there was a scene, and I think it was in the TV show, not the movie.
Okay.
But there was a scene where there was a sniper that was far away. And the sniper was also on this drug. And he goes through the repetitions in his mind in slow motion because his brain works faster than everybody else about, do I dodge this bullet? Do I shift? Do I take one in the shoulder? And he winds up deciding based on what he thinks the headline's going to be the next day,
right.
to let the bullet graze his shoulder.
His ear? I mean, his.
I didn't say ear. In the movie, or in the TV show, rather, it hit his shoulder.
Right. Okay.
And this is a real, like, Limitless was a movie, and then it was a TV show.
I didn't see the TV show.
And when I you know, so of course the day that guy that's running for president, that we shouldn't say his name because then we'll get deplatformed, took shrapnel to the ear, and you know he stands up and he's got that iconic fist pump pose. I sent the video to a couple of my, because I didn't know, I was out doing something with my family, and I had no idea what happened.
Right.
And they sent me that picture or whatever, and I sent them back. I said, I think I've already seen this movie or TV show, and they were blown away.
I'm telling you,
we saw it already.
This is
like it happened on that TV show.
Hollywood prepares us. The government works with Hollywood to help soften the blow to the general public. If we don't respond well at the movies or watching these other things, and then they're not ready for this yet. Why do you think they lock up
I gotta stop you
for 50, 60,
just
70
for
years?
1 second. Vince Bell is a happy guy. He is not suicidal. If he has a shotgun blast to the back of his head, he didn't shoot himself with the shotgun.
Or two single shots.
All right, go ahead.
I'm not that talented.
Going.
But this has often been done. They like, all right, the all of this quote unquote space age technology, that's the government working with Hollywood. All right, y'all glamorize this, so when they start seeing this crazy stuff happening over Area 13 and all of these other things,
we already saw that.
Already saw it, so people are not going to freak out so bad. Because we gotta give them something, or else they're going to start driving us nuts. And so that's hell. Even the whole Close Encounters of the Third Kind, with the whole alien thing. They've been trying to get that information since the 40s. And so it's like, okay, we'll give them a little bit now, and then come on, man.
Well, you've seen how like The Simpsons predicts the future stuff too. Then if you're gonna go down this rabbit hole, you've got to have seen that already too.
I love that, but again, how do they know? It's all a script. It's all out there.
All right,
it's all out there. So it's just a matter of how you interpret it, how you can pull it down. But they have. It's almost sickening, but they like, look, let's feed them. Let's feed them a little bit, see how they respond. And then, if they're ready for it, we'll give them a little more. If they're not ready, we'll back off.
So with that all said, there's a lot of movies about astronauts. There's a lot of movies about space. There's a lot of TV shows, right? My parents, who are, 27 years older than me, so 17-ish years older than you, give or take.
Right.
They would watch Star Trek all the time, right? And I'll tell you, with a lot of the stuff going on in the world, I don't know much about Star Trek, but sometimes I feel like Spock and just telling people that is illogical. And there's a lot of illogical stuff going on, but we're not going to go there. I brought up space because I want to talk to you about the moon. Tell me about the moon landing, because I was not alive in 1969.
I wasn't alive in 69, but I will say that my opinion, my very humble little nobody opinion, the United States is a very egotistical country. If we had the technology to get us up there in 1969, land on the moon, live transmission, years before internet, but we had live transmission from the moon to here live. If we had that technology back in 1969, enough to put a spaceship on the moon, have the guys get out there and bounce around, play golf, plant a flag, get back on that ship, and come back home. If we had that technology in 69, and as they say, we lost the technology. So as egotistical as we are as a nation, you're telling me that we would not break our own backs to regain and develop and make that technology even better. It sounds like they're deeper in the matrix than anybody. So, no, absolutely not. In my, I think even as a child watching the videos of it, I was like that.
Well,
because they're telling you it's no gravity, right?
Well, I used to play poker in my dad's poker group.
Okay.
With a bunch of guys who watched the moon landing with their families when they were kids, right? I mean, my dad was born in 54, 69. He would have been 16 or so, 17, whatever.
Okay.
And these guys, there was one guy in the group. I was maybe 18, 19, 20 at the time. This guy was maybe 10 years younger than everybody else. So let's call him 36, 37, 38.
Okay.
And he used to get made fun of for being the one guy in the whole group that was certain we did not land on the moon. It was all Hollywood, right? Like the Red Hot Chili Peppers song, "Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement."
That's pretty much what happened.
So
and so I give you another one. If you can go on YouTube right now and look up, I believe it's Buzz Aldrin or Neil Armstrong. I think it's Buzz Aldrin talking to a young girl.
And he said we never landed on the moon. Yeah.
We never went to the moon. We never landed on the moon. And now again, but it and somebody else brought up another point speaking on that. How they would interview all of these people who was this supposed heroes now, and how much of a difficult life they had to live because they couldn't talk about it. It was like they would all sit there stoic. They couldn't, even if you asked them something pleasant, it was like they hated showing up to these things. And as the years went on, they showed up to less and less and less.
It's the podcast twins for Tuber Storage. If you're looking to store your cigars, take them to the golf course, go camping, just take them with you pretty much anywhere. Tuber Storage is awesome.
Man, look, this thing is waterproof. You can hear the seal pop right there. Nice storage. You can put anything in here, your vitamins or anything that you want to control the scent. This thing holds it all together. Look at this one, different sizes. These are amazing products, man. I really think so. And they float. So if you happen to be on the boat that jumps off to the side, you can jump in there and retrieve it.
So if you go to tuberstorage.com, enter the code PODCASTTWINS, make sure you put a space in between them. You'll get 15% off and really awesome products.
Be like us. Use Tuber. Could you imagine living that life for that long?
So, then the question becomes, and I think everybody that is a conspiracy theorist, right? Like, I think it started for me when they would tell us, like, you got to stay inside your house and not get any sunshine, and you're stuck here, and you got to take our shots to get out your house. And then I looked at it and went, well, what's in food, right? What's in our water? What's in our food? What's in our air? And that's where I started my conspiracy journey, if you will, which all of it turned out to be true, right? Like, there's poison in our food.
Yeah.
There's crap in our water. There's air. There's stuff sprayed in the air. We can see it.
Yeah.
So then, what else do we go into and say, okay, well, I don't trust what I saw anymore, because I think a lot of it was smoke and mirrors or a distraction or whatever you want to call it. And then, what about 9/11? Here we go.
Before I go there, we play golf.
We do play golf, and we like to play golf as much as we possibly can.
Tell me how, in an anti-gravity situation, he was able to get that golf ball to sit on the ground.
It's a very, very good question, and I don't have an answer for you. All right, now you can go to the Twin Towers.
Okay. First of all, much respect to all who lost their lives, their family members. As a fireman, that was a big time in my life. I was just joining the fire department at that particular point in time. All the cops, the transit workers. But I got some issues. I got some questions that has yet to be answered. And I say to all of those who want to believe that everything went down exactly the way that the television said that it went down, I say, okay, that's fine, well and good. That's great. Because it would be out of the thought process for us to create our own war elsewhere. We wouldn't do that.
No, for sure. No, we never have in the
we
history of the
we
United
would
States.
not sacrifice a few of us to no, because the greater good. No,
Politicians have your best interest at heart. Write
every
it
one of
down until you believe it.
every one of them. So I just remember watching. I was in Pembroke Pines. We was I was playing in Miccosukee golf tournament, golf park down south.
You're talking about on September
on
11th.
September 11th. I
Mhm.
was playing with one of my buddies who was at the time working for Budweiser in the Publix tournament. Man, we're out there having a great time. I'm literally having the round of my life, and then all the phones start going off at the same time. Like, what the hell? And then ultimately they're like, everybody got to go back to their stores. Tournament's over. So by the time we made it back up on this end of town, we went to this great little Italian restaurant. I wish it still existed. It's gone now. But we were sitting in the restaurant watching this on 2 big screen TVs. So we watched this, and now we walked in to the place right after the second tower got hit. So now they're both just cooking. And and then I think eventually, I think 2 fell first. Then one, we're still sitting there at this restaurant, just mesmerized by, like, man, this is crazy. But then maybe 45 minutes later, I'm not sure the time frame on this. It was a young lady doing a report, and she was talking, and then she heard, and right over her shoulder was Building 7. It just fell. It fell all by its lonesome. No planes, no trains, no bombs came flying through the air. It literally fell all by itself in the exact same manner as Towers 1 and 2.
It seemed like it was also the exact same manner of I was in Vegas when the Stardust, when they took it down. I think they just blew up the Tropicana a month or less ago, maybe 2 months ago.
No, less than that.
And I'll tell you, you watch that. My dad actually emailed it to me because he knew that I was at the one. I was on the Strip when they imploded the Stardust, and I'll tell you, it looks cool. Yeah. But it didn't look any damn different.
No, it looked exact. When you get a building to implode, that meant you did it yourself.
Drop straight down.
So it can drop straight down. It can be an easy cleanup. It's less damaging around. How in the hell did that happen to Building 7? Nothing happened to that building. They was like, oh, it had a fire in the basement. And I get the hell out of here, man. Listen, if somebody can really make Building 7 make sense to me, I would almost listen and buy almost anything else you got to offer me about that. But when that lady turned around and was like, and her mouth was hanging open, she didn't know what to say. She had to go off script, and because that wasn't a part of it, but that was incredible. I'm like, and that's the one thing nobody talks about. But then everybody's suffering, everybody's going through this stuff, trying to recover people and all this other kind of mess. Country's going through hell, and they say, you know what? I know what we need. Baseball.
Well, the Department of the Treasury was short like $2 trillion, and they put that on the news like the day before 9/11 happened, and then everybody forgot about it. But that was just a coincidence for sure.
Coinky dinks is my favorite.
For sure, just a coincidence. I mean, those two things are wildly unrelated, so they can't possibly have anything to do with one another. Clearly.
Well, and then there's another little twist to that.
There's more.
Another little twist to that dreadlock. Allegedly, this I cannot verify, but I have heard it, and this is going way back to those times, is that CEOs, COOs from all of the buildings were not there.
Probably just another coincidence.
Probably just another coincidence.
We're talking about.
Yeah. So,
sounds right.
It
sounds right.
It sounds right. So,
but we're crazy for sure.
well, their job is to make you look crazy because it's the Kanye effect.
Ooh, here we go. The Kanye
It's the
effect. I
Kanye
don't know
effect.
about the Kanye. Is this like the Mandela effect?
No, completely
Something
different.
different. All right.
Well, like the Kanye effect of, okay, I'm I got nothing to hide, so I'm talking, but then because y'all know what I'm saying is a lot of truth, y'all gonna say that guy's crazy, and we'll have enough people to say he's crazy to the point you believe him crazy. So uh when the machine pushes you to be crazy, then that's what you become.
Okay.
So
Well, that happened to Chappelle, right? When Chappelle decided to bug out and live in a tent in Africa
yeah.
or whatever he was doing.
hmm
I mean,
It
that
was the same thing.
was
It's like he said that to on Oprah show. He said they tried to make me believe that I was crazy because again, the machine is bigger than you. They don't care anything about you. When you're non-productive to them anymore, you might as well become one of these conspiracy theories because now we can just get rid of you like anything else. Look, man, we it's this this we're so egotistical as a nation. Again, as I said,
Mhm.
there's no way in hell we would not have made it back to the moon by now. If we had a better way of explaining Building 7,
It's only
there's no way.
55. It's only 55 years or so. Like, come on.
We're so egotistical as a nation that they said when Kennedy got shot that we're going to lock these records away for 75 years because that way the people who were involved will be dead and so will their children.
Didn't they try and 75 years was something else more recently? Like they wanted to get rid of the COVID shot data for 75 years. Also, like 75 is a magic number, huh?
It's a magic number.
All right.
Look, because that way any if if they prove that people were involved, they or their next generations won't be impacted.
Good. Let's go big time next. Let's go straight for climate change. Let's go straight for climate change.
Well,
because first of all, the climate does change.
Every year.
Does change. So go ahead. What do you got on climate change?
Well, I know that when old Al Gore was screaming climate change years ago,
Florida's going to be underwater in 10 years.
Underwater in 10 years, in California also.
10 years. That was in the 80s.
That was that in the 80s?
Or late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, maybe early 90s. I remember Al Gore was doing all of that stuff. But I'll say this, it may not have gotten to be that drastic, but we have definitely experienced climate change. 100%. And like I say to others, again, I don't care because I'm not really a D, I'm not really an R. I don't care about none of that
God
stuff.
bless you.
You know,
you're one of the few people that doesn't associate with.
I don't. I'm not identified by either one of those. But I said, hey man, when it makes sense, it makes sense. You can't tell me that things we're putting up in the air don't affect the ozone layer, which will affect the heat.
Is CO2 the bad guy?
I wouldn't know what is the bad guy, so to speak, but I say this. The body is the most intelligent thing and can heal itself if you stop putting bullshit in it and allow it to heal itself.
Okay.
So I think
that's a common theme for us.
So I think that the earth is even more intelligent to repair itself if we quit putting man-made bullshit.
Do you know what percentage of the atmosphere is CO2? I learned this the other day.
Please give it to me.
Guess. Take a guess.
Well,
percentage of atmosphere CO2. Vince Bell, answer the question.
All right.
Don't pick a big number.
No, I was about to say I was going to give it maybe 3%.
You're way high.
Really?
0.04%.
Okay.
So I was watching a video about one of these science guy types saying that, and I think he was in front of Congress, and he asked a bunch of people within Congress if they knew, and they guessed, 3%, 5%, 7%, 8%, and he told them, no, it's 0.04%. Not a 0.5%.
No.
Not 0.1%, 0.04%. So I would say, are we really focusing on what's important here?
We'll go with a resounding no.
Well, I mean, in 10 years, Florida's going to be underwater, but they've been saying that for
what? For 20 years, 30 years.
60, 50 or 60 years.
And but have we seen beaches erode? Yep, we've seen it. We've seen it happen.
We've seen a lot of plastic in the ocean too.
Oh my God, we've seen tons of plastic in the ocean. We've seen ocean animals coming up with all this plastic.
I saw a meme today that made me chuckle, and I'll share it with you, and we'll post it. It said Coca-Cola sells 20,000 bottles, plastic one-use bottles every 4 seconds or something like that. And then it had a pasture full of cows, and it said, but this is the problem.
This is the see? Again.
And we're doing our part on the cow thing, right? We eat steak as often as we can.
I try to.
So we're trying our best to affect lower CO2 emissions from cows by eating them.
Yeah, because God forbid they take a dump in the field where they are and the grass actually grows back underneath it from that. And
right, because nobody knows about cow manure being fertilizer. That's new news.
No, we don't need none of that to happen. But see, it's again, if you watch something on the TV,
if you pay higher taxes, the climate will be safe, Vince. Just listen to the TV; it'll tell you.
Well, how many times did they tell me that on the TV?
A lot.
And so, did they tell you that on all 3 or 4 channels?
I'm sure that they did.
If that's what happens,
and the British news station and everywhere else,
if they read the same script, then you will be forced, and I mean forced, to believe it, and that's where we suffer.
So why are we the outliers, or are we the outliers that don't believe what we see? That's my real I mean, I know we've met people, right? We've worked in retail in our past lives and met all different types of people, and a lot of people are lacking in common sense, are lacking in being able to read what actually matters.
And read with understanding.
Read with understanding what actually matters. So are we I don't know. Are we the minority in this case?
And I yes.
Are you sure?
I'm positive, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's easier to hear someone else say something and go join in with them.
Okay.
It's just easier to fit in.
Sit on the bandwagon.
Just jump on what everybody else say. It's just easier. It's easier to look at that flag waving in space while they're taking this video, live transmission.
Live transmission, yes, of course.
Of him hitting his golf ball with no gravity effects. It's easier to say, oh, wow, look at that. That was great. See that, Junior? We were on the moon. It's easier to do that because everybody else is gushing over it. So if it's just easier for us to gush over something, then I say, damn it, that's it. That's just where we're living. It's easier for us to just absorb that.
So you're saying you got a choice. You can either actually think for yourself, or you can just listen to everybody else and say, yeah, that's right.
Most people who try that thought process thing, you wound up having these uncomfortable conversations with people that you love, and that's something they don't want to have to deal with. So a lot of times, we don't say a word because it's just like, ooh, look, my wife was in New York during the towers. She was living there, and they take, that's just a different conversation to them, because again, just from the fiasco of what's happening, not actually the theory behind just the PTSD of trying to get home and realizing that the world is actually not coming to an end. When that's the closest thing you've seen to the world coming to an end. So I try to tread very lightly when it comes to that thing, but that's why I also say, the whole Building 7 situation, for those that want me to believe everything else, like it just happened to be that camera crew recording Engine 1 that happened to be outside and capture the first plane entering the building, and it just happened to get to the news that quickly. Look, those French guys, they're amazing filmmakers, I'm sure, and they were able to get that real quick. They were able to get that information out quickly. I'm not debating that, because I'll buy anything you want me to buy as soon as you can tell me about building something.
All right, fair enough.
So that's what my whole thought process is as a thinking person. A lot of times, if I'm not in the room of like-minded folks, I just sit back.
All right,
because it's not worth it.
Okay.
Hey, I've seen.
When this airs, you're gonna have a hard time sitting back.
I'm okay with that because they're bringing it to me.
Okay, and then I saw another meme that made me chuckle. I think one of my buddies sent it to me, and it said, "It's very easy to save money on Christmas presents. Just talk politics during Thanksgiving dinner."
Absolutely. See, that's the whole.
Follow us for more tips.
More cost saving tips. Hey man, listen, it's the funniest thing, because again, if you really think about what I just said, most people are going to just go along with the crowd because it's easier, and they don't want to stand out as somebody that they call crazy. It's just easier.
I've kind of learned to embrace my crazy, because I'm not crazy in a bad way. I'm crazy in what I think is a good way.
I'll take it a step further and say,
you know what the difference between crazy people and not crazy people is, right? The crazy ones don't know they're crazy.
I'll go with that all day.
Take it a step further, though.
I'm just gonna say, I when I see something that gives me the willies down deep in here, it's like, that ain't right. I just try to be a logical thinker. If I think about something logically, and the I start getting 1 + 1 and coming up with 3.5, something ain't working, and I'm trying to break it down to the lowest common. When it ain't working, building 7, just out the blue, boom, 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 boom. I've heard the fire in the basement. I've heard probably 20 other things that they tried to put out there. And I'm like, none of that. And according to people way more educated than me about the structure of those buildings, was like, none of that will cause that kind of pop, 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 pop implosion to that building. Forget these other two.
To fall straight down like a Vegas casino was intended
like it should have
to
been
fall
should have been people clapping.
Which there were at the Tropicana and the Stardust and 40 other casinos that have been blown up. So okay.
So yeah, it's just like I said. So, but again, I was just like, it was like funny. Like, man, it's getting a little tight. People getting a little tight here. Baseball. We'll make baseball the savior here. I think it was the Mets Yankees. We got the Subway Series. We're gonna bring that back. This is it, and we're gonna take away the 7th inning stretch, and we're gonna play God Bless them,
because baseball is America's pastime, or at least it was.
It was, but man, what a way to take America's brain and just go. But don't start looking too deep into what we really. I mean, what really might have happened. Don't start looking that deep. Just go be entertained.
I mean, it's interesting because a lot of the information.
But this ain't new.
No,
because this is going back to the Roman Empire.
Ooh, we're going Roman Empire.
Because
all right,
the reason that the games occurred during those years.
Oh, you're gonna say the circus and bread, aren't you? I know what's coming next.
Because just as the people started to get a little antsy, want to start asking some power questions, want to start, you know what these people need?
Circus and bread.
So this ain't new. We just repeating.
So those who are doomed, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it, is what you're saying. I don't know. There was a former president that made that statement. I don't remember which one.
He was in office not too long ago, but okay. But yeah, so yeah, it's a lot going on in this world that I don't like to be called a conspiracy theorist. I like to be called a thinker.
Well, I saw another thing on social media about, conspiracy theorists are up 37-0.
Well, who's going to beat them?
Now we just call it trendsetters.
See, I'm just saying who's gonna beat the thinker.
So we just saw it first. We're not conspiracists.
It's not a conspiracy. If you see something that ain't quite right, you call it out and you look into that, you add it up, and it don't come out to the math that it should. When that math ain't mathing, why is that a conspiracy?
Well, I mean, you can't really talk about math because math is inherently racist. I saw that report too.
Wow, I ain't heard that.
Oh, yeah, that's another one for you to look into next.
Math is inherently
racist. There was, I think it was MSNBC or CNN or something. They had a math teacher on there, and she was talking about how math is racist. Well, that'll be maybe for another episode.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. Because I got to look that one up.
Yeah.
Okay,
that'll be a good one.
That would be a good one. Look for that one coming soon.
It's funny. I was up in Orlando a few years ago when my wife was still in nursing school, and we were talking to one of her really close friends, and I'll leave her name out of the conversation for now because she might want to remain anonymous. And she was talking about something about the moon landing, and I said, yeah, that's interesting because Buzz Aldrin said it never happened, and she was like, what are you talking about? And I sent her down that one, and I sent her down in a couple of these other do the research, let me know what you think now. And it was her head exploded a little bit.
Yeah, man. Well, at the fire station, we used to
oh, here we go.
When we would get a new person in and we start chit-chatting around there and realize that their brain was just so virginized about truth, we would say, okay, all right, it's 10 a.m. If we start doing Zeitgeist now, we can start playing some games with you and see what it is. Because I'm not saying that the Zeitgeist is right or wrong. It just makes you think. Start looking at the Zeitgeist movies and listen, those were some really good things to at least make you think. Did you agree with everything? Absolutely.
You know who I blame for making me think? My mom.
Okay.
Because my dad had a more prevalent influence on me for professionalism and business, but as far as questioning everything and asking questions, she would always encourage me if I didn't understand something or it didn't pass the smell test, or you called it the gut test, I guess, then you should ask questions until somebody can give you an answer that makes sense. So I blame my mom, which is funny because my mom a lot of times will look at something and just instantly believe it, but she taught me to do insanely the opposite.
Yeah.
So I'm a curious person by nature. I mean, there's things that happen and I look at it and go, I'd really like to understand that, or I'd like to understand and
how it works.
Well, my problem comes in when you're not supposed to ask about a topic. And now I'm the black sheep that day because I asked a question that I wasn't supposed to. And I was like, wait a minute.
That's what I'm talking.
Wait a minute. If you told me to question everything, and if I don't understand something, ask more questions, how can I ask a question I'm not supposed to? Because it might bother somebody. It might hurt their feelings.
Did you take the red pill or the blue pill?
I don't have any pills. I try not to take drugs. I don't want them.
It's the question, man. That's really what it comes down to is, are you going to just go along the path that's already been cut? Or are you going to say that because your mind is sparked, you're willing to go and blaze a separate trail? And hey, listen, and sometimes I catch myself saying, it's the path of least resistance, and I'm going there.
Okay.
Because it ain't worth
the fight. Not today.
But not on certain subjects, like when that building 7 collapsed over that lady's shoulder. Amazing to me. I never will forget that. But it was some of these just things that just don't make sense. Again, the moon landing kills me because, again, they don't forget what did or didn't happen. Think about who we are as a nation. As egotistical as we are,
we're the best.
We are the best. We're quick to tell you that we're the best.
Number one in everything.
They may call us terrorists in these other countries, but over here, damn it, we ain't terrorists. We're the best. We are patriots. So you mean to tell me that we are all self-proclaimed this best, bad some bitches in the world? You mean to tell me we ain't gonna go back there and do it better? We're not gonna go back there and put up a world of beer or do something crazy. We're not gonna do nothing to go up there and establish something so the wealthy can have something to go and aspire to go and get that we can't have.
Well, isn't that why Musk is trying to get us to Mars?
But all he's doing is going up and down. Up and down, charging him $1 million a ride.
Basically, like a trampoline. You jump on a trampoline.
I forget the name of that ride at Universal. Just shoots up and come back down. Put the name of the ride in the comments.
Well, they got Orlando. They got the Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror. That's it. That's the one. Right. But that's all they're doing.
That's in Disney, I think. I don't know.
One of them.
I think it's in Orlando. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. As egotistical as we are as a nation, we haven't.
Well, you know what?
Developed somebody to go out there and get this done.
I think we got to ask the audience now to tell us some other stuff that we should never talk about.
So right now, everybody go down in your comments and put up some other conspiracy thoughts. We're not even going to call them theories or some other stuff that is not popular.
What if we just call them different ideas?
Different ideas.
Because they are, right? They're different ideas than you see on TV and social media a lot of times.
And that way you get two totally different opinions, two totally different backgrounds. We can come out there and give you two, and you mess around and have the same answer come from two different directions. It'll really blow your mind.
Right, because we don't like each other because we don't look the same. So but obviously we're twins on the inside.
We're all the way twins.
On the inside. So, all right, well, listen, I'm burned out. That's enough. Let's go play golf or shoot some guns or something.
I'm ready.
And have a cigar. And we'll catch you next time on Podcast Twins.
Boom.